I am back today with another update on our farmhouse build. We are making progress and there's a lot of stuff going on, so let me tell you all about it. Hey there, my name is Yami. I am your Latina next door. Welcome back to mi casa. So right now I'm in my garage and I thought it would be fitting since we're going to be talking about the garage doors very first thing. You might hear a little bit of noise in the background because we do have some workers taking care of some things inside of the house, but the video had to get done and I just had to come out here and film this for you all and just give you guys an update. We've always had two-car garages, but for this house, we wanted to make sure we were able to park three vehicles. My husband and I do have some recreational vehicles. We have a side-by-side as well as a go-kart. And it was just nice to actually have a larger garage where we can have space to have our gym set up, as well as his tools and any other vehicle, again, like our side by side, to be able to park inside and just keep it away from the elements. So we're very excited that we were able to have a three-car garage in this house. Now, when I first started thinking about what I wanted for my garage doors, I had originally envisioned some kind of faux wood garage doors that would kind of match the wood doors that we had selected for like the laundry and then the two double doors that go out into our backyard from our actual garage. I did a mock up of it to kind of just visualize what it would look like. I will admit it looked very pretty. Now, when we started to get pricing for something with a faux wood finish, we learned very quick that that is a premium add-on. So this would have caused our garage doors to be even more expensive than what we had envisioned. So we decided to go ahead and nix the faux wood look for it. And I ended up going with a white. Now there was a couple of things that I was not going to compromise on. One of them was I wanted to make sure that I had window panes on my garage doors. I like garage doors with windows. I like to bring in that extra sunlight and keep it nice and bright in here. And I also think that they just look a little bit more high end whenever you have windows on your garage doors. So I wanted to make sure I had those. I also wanted longer panes. I didn't want the small little squares that you usually see on builder grade garage doors. And if you have the option of going with a longer pane, I do think that looks a little bit higher end. Now, along with that longer pane, I decided to also add the bead board pattern to it. Now, this wasn't any additional cost. The only additional cost was the actual window panes. And I thought that that was actually a reasonable additional cost to undertake because it just was more functional for me. Now, we did go over budget on our doors, and that is because we went with like a third vendor. We had gone through two other vendors that would either not show up, return our calls, or they ended up not even ordering the doors that we had agreed on. So when we finally went to this third place, they had a great setup. They were very professional, but of course that came at a price. And we were okay with that, considering that the doors that we ended up going with that were actually of much better quality than the ones we would have originally gone with in the first place. Now, for our garage doors, we wanted them to be insulated. We didn't want just the front paneling, which is what's pretty much standard when it comes to garage doors. We wanted them to have an insulated core, and we wanted them to be metal on both sides. Our garage is actually insulated all the way throughout. And since you have to access our bonus room through our garage, we knew that we wanted to add the additional insulation to the doors because we wanted to keep the temperature more of an ambient feel in here in case we ever needed to go across into the bonus room, whether it's in the heat of summer or in the cold of winter. We wanted it to feel more comfortable inside of the garage. We also wanted to protect against elements like that cold and the wind, as well as the snow and the torrential rains that we get up here. So we had to get some really robust garage doors. So we did end up going over budget as far as that's concerned. Another thing that we did for our garage door openings per se is we actually had the radius from like which they're raised and go up be at a wider angle so that when the garage doors are lifted, it's actually much higher than the door opening. So if we needed extra space or headroom for whatever projects we're working in here, we actually have that extra space because our garage doors are a lot closer to the ceiling. They would be much higher than if we would have gone with a traditional standard angle for the top of it. So that was something else that is a little bit different for our garage doors. The only thing missing right now is that black hardware, just the nice pieces that you can add on after the fact that will make it look more like carriage doors. But since we're still under construction and we're still kind of, going in and out and not finished with the space, we decided to go ahead and hold off on that until a little bit later. So right now they're just simple white, but they look amazing. They're super quiet. You can barely hear them when, they're open and closed, but we're very happy with how they turned out. And if in the future I ever want to paint them, give them a faux finish myself, or anything like that, I still have that option because they are paintable. But I figured, they look really nice the way they are. I'll leave them be for right now. So tell me what you think on how they turned out. A few more things that we've been working on are the window casings as well as the door casings. For this, I've shared some sneaks here and there. I wanted something a little bit different for my windows. I wanted it to look like I can look out the window and it looked like just a picture, a nice, pretty country picture encased in like a picture frame. And so I didn't want anything too craftsman either because I want my stuff in here to look a little bit more elevated. So I decided to go with a thicker casing. So if you look, the top casing that you see right here, that is actually your standard door casings that you would normally find in a builder grade home. It's what everybody's pretty much used to. But I wanted something a little bit thicker and a little bit more ornate, so I went with the one that you see below. This is a little bit wider, it's a little bit more pronounced, it has just a regal look to it, and this is what we use to case the windows as well as the doors in the home. It adds a little bit more height, it adds a little bit more elegance, and I love that I went with that. Here's a little tip. If you're ever looking for casing like this and you need quite a bit of it, instead of going to your regular big box stores, one place that you should look is your local lumber supply. Usually they have the best price on this. And we checked out the price of this compared to all the other big box stores in our area. And it just ended up being that our local supply was much more inexpensive. And this is very important for us because we are at the end of the build. And right now, we're approaching the end, which means the end of the budget, the end of, the projects that we can do and all that stuff. So every single penny counts. And one thing that Nelson wanted when it came to our casing was he wanted to make sure that everything was primed wood, not primed MDF. Now, we believe our house is constructed very well. We believe everything is nice and sealed, but we do experience really rough weather up here. And so Nelson said, if we ever experience any kind of leak anywhere in any window sill or anything like that, he wanted to make sure that whatever casing we used around it was wood and not MDF, so it wouldn't sponge up and expand and just, get damaged the way MDF would versus if it was actual wood that we used around the window casings. And that was his requirement for the casing. I was able to, pick the style, but he wanted to make sure that that was wood. Another update is we got our electrical inspection and go ahead to take out our temporary power and actually have power to the house. So that's very exciting. Nelson has been working on all of the breakers and he's been, just kind of putting all of the power together and making sure that we have power in the necessary areas for the guys that are working inside of the house. And that's been a major accomplishment because now we can get the HVAC system set up and complete. Now we have the infrastructure, but we don't have the towers plugged in and set up and running. So we had to wait till we get power in order to get that part of the HVAC system done and, start actually, ventilating our home, which is great. So far right now, it's been cool. It's been, still kind of a wintry mix of weather. It hasn't been very hot up here, so we haven't needed the HVAC. But soon enough, it's going to get pretty hot, and we want to make sure we have that so that everything we can start putting in the house stays temperature controlled. So that is another development, and that has been great. And, we're moving forward on that front. Now I'm also starting on a little DIY project of my own. We have the light fixtures for the exterior of the home, but I only found them in black. And I'm really set on having copper colored exterior lanterns. However, if you have ever seen the prices of exterior lanterns for your home in copper, they are insane expensive. And again, we're reaching the end of our budget. I really have to make sure I save wherever I can. So I found a couple of light fixtures, and my plan is to paint them to match the gutters of our house. So let me show you what I have in mind. All right, so these right here are the lanterns that I have selected for the exterior of the house. These are going to go on the outside of the garage doors, as well as the front entrance doors, the side door, and the back porch door. And I actually got this from two different places. One of them is from Lowe's and one of them is from Amazon. And I'll be using both of them. The larger ones are going to go in places like the garage because they're such large doors. They really do need a substantial light fixture. And then this one right here is going to go in places like the back patio door or the side laundry door to the outside. They're very similar in styles, as you can see. This one right here has like a hook that looks like it's hanging off of it, kind of like a lantern, which is what I wanted. I wanted them to look like lanterns and something a little bit different than we would normally find. This one also has this, it just doesn't have it right here. You can see the attachment of it, and it also has the same loop-de-loop. And I was very fortunate that I was able to find them in these two different sizes, even though I had to look in two different places. The only thing here is, as you can see, this one has kind of like a gold little accent and this one doesn't. So I decided to see if I can spray paint them a copper color to match the gutters that we actually installed on the outside of our house. And so I'm thinking, you know, if I spray paint these to match, I think it'll be really nice. I'll get that copper lantern look that I want so much, and it'll just tie them all together even more personally. Again, I'm not looking for the black and white farmhouse style, which is why I'm totally fine with spray painting these, but the only thing is I need to see which spray paint is gonna work better. One of them is like a hammered copper color, and it's really weird because I've only been able to find two different kinds of copper spray paint. This is one of them, and then this one is an antique copper. It's a little bit more solid than this one. So I was gonna spray a couple of pieces of trim that I have and just kind of see what they look like, and hopefully I can figure out which one it is that I want. So looking at these next to the gutters, the one with the hammered look looks definitely a lot closer to the color of the gutters. And at first it didn't look so great, but when I gave it 2 coats, it actually looks really nice with the texture. This one's nice. This one actually has a couple of bubbles here. They both look very nice. It's just that this one, I guess with the hammered look and then the color, it's just really close to the gutter. So I'm probably going to end up going with the hammered look. Also, Nelson and I have started painting our interior rooms. We started upstairs for the kids' bedroom and we began to paint those. I think I've mentioned this in our last update video, but we did give the kids the option of choosing their paint colors. We gave them like a range of colors based on what they wanted, and they were able to pick it. And all of the kids' bedrooms are painted already, and we're really excited about that. They've been so good and patient throughout this entire process. And now that they see their rooms with walls and with color, it's finally, becoming real for them. Now, the next step upstairs is getting the tiles in the bathroom done. Because in order for us to put the carpet down, which we've already ordered, and we're actually picking up this weekend. So in order for us to install that carpet, we actually have to have the floor tiles done for both bathrooms upstairs. So that's going to get done first, and then we can install the carpet. So that's kind of all falling to place in these next 2 weeks. Now, this might not be common knowledge for everybody. I know we've said this one in the past, but not everybody is aware of this. We do plan on getting the house to a livable standard for us to just go ahead and move in. Because it is we who are building the house, we don't have to wait till everything is completely finished in order for us to move in. We're going to have everything up to a, livable standard, and everything's functioning, the bathrooms, the kitchen, and all that stuff. But the fine details, it's going to happen after we move in. Now, what's coming up is going to be even more exciting because I'm going to be sharing the inspiration, the cabinetry, the layouts, and all that stuff for all of the bathrooms, the kitchen, what I want to do in the laundry space. All of the selections have been made. All of the paint has been selected. Everything is here. So I am putting those together for you all. So again, I'll be sharing like mood boards, what's going to be going in there, the finishes, and all that stuff. I cannot wait to show you guys. It's coming up very soon. So I just want to let you guys know that things are ramping up. We are in the thick of it and we're trying to get this house done so quickly. My goal is to be in this house so that we can celebrate 4th of July. Again, it might not be completely finished, but if we can be living here and celebrating 4th of July here, I think that's just going to be so sweet. And as you know, time flies. So it'll be here before we know it. So stay tuned, sit tight, because our next video is going to be so fun. With that being said, I hope you guys are doing well, and I'll see you back here in the next one. Until then, adios.